let's flip a coin. Heads Carolina, tails California.
Hello, it's Andy Graham of the Ask Andy Show. I've been traveling nonstop for 16 plus years and went to 90 countries. I ask global questions about anything and everything, from personal to travel. Okay, a friend of mine, Eric, is a long-time reader, good friend of mine, asked a question. He wrote a whole bunch of things, but then he says, West Africa wondering. What are your thoughts about the Ebola outbreak over there? Okay, I've been to West Africa now maybe 8 times. I'm in Vilcabamba, Ecuador right now, but I just before here I was in Africa for about 6 or 7 months. And since the time I was there, it's they're up to about 700 or 800 deaths right now. And I think in the U.S. right now they just brought somebody into the USA. What's my thoughts about the Ebola? I'm not sure how to say it. Ebola. I don't hear it in the news like you guys do, so I don't know how to pronounce it. I got to hear somebody on TV say it. I can only read the word. So Ebola. It's a disease that is about 70 to 90% fatal. So it's a pretty serious disease, and it's in Guinea, Liberia, and let's see, there's like 3 countries right there: Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. Okay, what are my thoughts? My thoughts are, it's right next to Côte d'Ivoire, where I used to stay. It's Ivory Coast. That's where Ba, the girl I almost married a year or so ago, lives, and we still talk. So it's getting close to home in a way. I think Africa is not prepared for this at all. It's in a way the worst place on the planet for this to happen, because Africans, they don't really worry at all. Okay, and the media the media, whether it's the newspapers, the television, and all these things, are really very minute in Africa. And not that I'm in Vilcabamba, Ecuador, not that there's a newspaper around here to read, because nobody here reads a newspaper. But the television is a really great way to spread information and to solve problems. So if you wanted everybody to know it, you just put it in almost in commercials and stuff. But not everybody in West Africa is watching television, so it's going to be a problem. And the countries where this at is pretty remote. And when I say remote, I don't mean that there's not big cities, but I mean it's kind of hilly and stuff. And if you really study the map, getting through Sierra Leone and Liberia is really not easy. It's not that easy place to travel on the road system. And what people will do is, this is why the mentality and the media are both really bad in West Africa. When I say the media, I mean they're not going to be able to tell people that what they should do in a broad-scale way. And the second thing is the mentality is they just don't get serious. They don't get seriously afraid like Americans or Europeans or something, or first world countries. They basically are very lackadaisical way of looking at life, and this is working against them. It makes, nobody commits suicide in West Africa. It's very seldom you hear anybody commit suicide. Nobody gets worried about anything, but that doesn't really work on this type of thing. They really need to kick in. I do know that now with so many people flying, I think it was a bad idea to bring this American doctor into the United States to treat him. I think this is totally, this is crazy. You don't, one accident and you got an outbreak here. And it's under the theory that we're perfect and we won't have accidents. And that's just not good. People have accidents, and probably the reason why this doctor has it is because he had an accident, right? It's a bad precedent to bring somebody with a very deadly disease into another thing, because even the movies you see where the end of the world things, the guy breaks the vial and the disease spreads. This is possible. This is really actually possible, and the best way to do it is to keep it in a smaller area and not let it move. And it should be being more stringent. But hopefully, the bad part is I was really wanting to travel to this part of the world, and it's always been a coin flip if when I go back to Africa, whether I go back to fly into Senegal and go over to Sierra Leone and Liberia, or I go over to Cameroon and go there. But I guess that makes up my mind right now until this completely stops over. It's been growing and it's not been getting smaller, and it's you know, it's the fatality rate is too high. But you know, people that are reading the newspapers, people that are watching the news on TV, know what's going on in the world. The people that are on the internet don't. And this is one of the problems. People think that just because they're watching the internet that somehow they're informed. And they're not. They really need to get on, they need to watch the nightly news, or they need to read the newspaper. And even when you're in a local place like here, I finally figured out how to subscribe to USA. I always do CNN alerts, but I've now subscribed to the USA Today, and they send me breaking news, and they send me a daily update on tech news, they send me a world news, they send me up on a thing, and I'm also subscribing to the Guardian newspaper, and they give me like a list of articles. I don't read them all, but I read the headlines, and I have an idea what's going on. I don't like to read negative news, but when you're traveling, you really do need to do it. Now, if, like right now, one way to prevent yourself from getting in troubles like this and accidentally traveling into places like this, like right now I'm going to go to Bulgaria, right? So, and some other countries like Croatia. So I'll put a Google Alerts. You can go to googlealerts.com and you put in the word Bulgaria, and every day you'll get an email saying a bunch of articles about Bulgaria. And if it's really negative, you're going to see it in the list of things, and then you just peruse this every day. Now the sad part is people really can't read as good as they act like they can, and they can't really skim over these things as fast as I can. Reading the headlines in the front page of a newspaper every day is wisdom. And it's much better news though than you know, CNN or something like that, because it's more broad scale. It's more broadly, you have more articles, more subjects, while CNN's going to hang to the 5 subjects all the time. But savvy travelers are going to be reading the news enough just to know the headlines. A savvy traveler also knows better than to read everything in depth and get afraid, because I tend to always read the enjoyable articles because I want to have a nice life. But it's too close to Côte d'Ivoire for my feeling. I have a lot of friends in Côte d'Ivoire, in Grand-Bassam, in Abidjan, and I know that this thing's it's got a 21-day incubation period, and somebody can get it and then not show the symptoms and then go on a trip, right? One same problem with malaria. When I carried malaria medicine outside of West Africa in case I got it 10 days later after I left the country. Okay, thanks, Eric. It's a very good question and very timely.
We can